Well, thank y'all very much. Before I get into any of the details here, and certainly open up any questions that y'all may have, thank you for your partnership. As y'all well know, we work very, very close with y'all, and have for many, many years, especially since we started Focus Jackson, which I can't believe it, but that's been about 13 years ago, which is 12 years ago or something like that, but it's been a long time, and y'all have been very, very good partners with us, and we've been able to accomplish some good things as a result of it. But thank you for that partnership, and I certainly hope that partnership will continue. It started in 2002. The fall of 2001 is actually when we started researching it, and we started it in 2002. Before that, it was me and one person at the chamber, which we couldn't get a whole lot done. We didn't have the money to do some things, and as a result of doing the assessment in Jackson County, with the community, not the chamber, the community identified 4 areas that they wanted the chamber to lead in, and those 4 areas were workforce development and education, tourism, because I was tourism director before they hired me as president and CEO, and they did not replace me as tourism director because we didn't have the money. Third, business development or retail and commercial development, and 4th, public policy and advocacy or governmental affairs. Those are the 4 areas that the community identified that they wanted us to work in. We went out and we gathered through our consultant about 75 partners, investors, to put together, and we put together a 5-year community and economic development plan, and as a result of that, we've been able to accomplish some good things, some very, very good things, and we feel like that y'all get a big bang for your buck. The city of Scottsboro benefits probably more than any organization or any partner we have, and there's reasons for that, and I'll go into those in a couple of minutes. But thank you so much for your partnership. Wanted to y'all, I'm sure y'all are fully aware that y'all can't just, as a city, cannot just give money. Y'all actually we're under a contract with y'all. So I've put a copy of that contract in your package, where that's the way that legally it's done, and y'all contract with us for those 4 initiatives that we work on. We actually are under contract with y'all. When y'all first started in 2002, it was $50,000 a year. It was that for about 7 years. Give you a little history because of how it came about. I got a call one day about the McDonald's Big Bass Splash, and the guy, Bob Seeley, flew here from Texas and wanted to meet with me about bringing it to Alabama and Lake Guntersville because every one of his fishermen wanted to come to Lake Guntersville. Met with him and found out that it was $15,000 at the time. I didn't have $15,000. Contacted the city council at the time, and they said they definitely wanted to do it. So the city council, Scottsboro City Council, came up with the dollars, the $15,000, and we contracted out to do that with Bob Seeley, and we did that for about, it was either 2 or 3 years, and I don't remember for sure. I know that was before your day. Then we came back to y'all and decided through city council and mayor that it would be better if the city increased the $50,000 to $65,000, and we take over the bass tournament rather than y'all being directly working with the bass tournament. So you did that about 8 years ago, went to $65,000. We took over paying for the bass tournament, which it's actually cost us a little over $16,000 for the last 8 years, and the economic impact is quite considerable. That particular one tournament is about $2.8 million. So let's get into since we're talking about that, we've been at the $65,000 for about, Rick, I think it's around 7 or 8 years, if I remember correctly. That's pretty close. The areas that y'all contract us to do are, let's talk about tourism first. Y'all contract us to take care of the tourism efforts. As a result of Focus Jackson, which is now called Forward Jackson, we've been able to hire a full-time tourism director, of course, J.P. Parsons. When I first started doing tourism, our tourism related expenditures in Jackson County were $19,238,000. That's how much money was brought into Jackson County through tourism expenditures. Last year, 2013, it was $50,051,145. So I would dare say that that's working. Tourism is, through the years, unfortunately, up until we started doing Focus Jackson, was kind of treated like a redheaded stepchild. It was not considered economic development. That's economic development when you can grow an area from 19 million to over 50 million, and that is great growth. Right now, we sign contracts for anywhere from 5 to 8 bass tournaments. They don't come for free. You got to pay them to come. So we spend right at $50,000 for bass tournaments, and for every contract I sign, I turn down 3. Just don't have money. I mean, as simple as that. We have to pick the best and the ones that'll get the most and bring the most to Jackson County. But of those $50,000, the economic impact, direct economic impact, is about $9 million. Right. That's what those bass tournaments bring into Jackson County. We spend $50,000, they bring in $9 million. Now, one of the reasons I said a while ago, the city of Scottsboro stands to benefit more than any other partner we have in Forward Jackson is the fact that y'all get the sales tax off of all those bass tournaments. You also get a percentage of the lodging tax, 5%. Now, we get a small percentage of the lodging tax. We get 1 3/4% of the lodging tax, but the city of Scottsboro gets 5%. So when we can grow tourism like that, the city of Scottsboro directly benefits tremendously, which is a great partnership. So the area of tourism has been just huge. We're working very close with the mayor on any projects that associate with tourism or with business development. As y'all well know, we've been working on the hotel project for, unfortunately, 3.5, 4 years. We've gone to Plan B, and it's still moving forward. And Mayor Potter will tell you, we work very close together with him on that, and we'll continue to do so. Tourism is very expensive. Just a new collateral material, just one brochure is about $8,000. It's extremely expensive. Our website's expensive. JP has put out a Jackson County birding trail, a Hallelujah Trail of Jackson County, and our newest release is a brand new Scottsboro Jackson County video, which some of you may have seen just very recently on Facebook. It literally just came out last week. So that is tourism, and that's just a little taste of tourism, of what JP does in the area of tourism. Second area that we work very close with y'all is through business development. Because of Forward Jackson, we were able to hire a full-time Vice President of Business Development, former Mayor Ron Bailey, and he works with our existing retail and commercial to help them grow their business, and he works to recruit new retail and commercial. We're partners with y'all through retail strategies. Y'all pay part of that contract, we pay part of that contract, and we work very close. We work very close with the mayor and with the city on the new service road. Thrilled to see it moving forward, and wish we could go a little further, but unfortunately we can't right now, but maybe down the road we will, but we'll continue to work very close with it on that. Ron worked very close with them with the new, filling in the goodies building that was set empty for quite a while with the new Burks. When we were out in the ICSC conference out in Las Vegas 2 years ago, we went by and visited with the Wendy's people and sat down and talked to them about building a new Wendy's here and making them realize it's time to tear that one down. It's been there a long time. As you can see, we're successful there, and there'll be a new Wendy's going up in Scottsboro, and it's certainly not before it needs it. We've worked on so many projects to go in where O'Brien's is. It's unbelievable. That place historically has been snake bit, but we started working on O'Brien's probably 3 or 4 years ago. And finally, we were able to do that, and right now they seem to be doing extremely well. And again, anytime we can bring something like that in, the city of Scottsboro gets the sales tax, which is fantastic. But we're very thrilled with that. And then when the mayor was able to work out a deal with Dunham's, we helped out in any way we can there. So y'all are great partners.
The council did that.
Well, the council, okay, yeah. But again, that's working together through a partnership. Without Forward Jackson and y'all's partnership, and JP will tell you, surprised you hadn't said it already.
I wouldn't have a job.
I lose Forward Jackson, and we lose a full-time tourism director and a full-time VP of Business Development, because that's how they get paid. Simple as that. That's just being honest with you. Without our Forward Jackson program, and it's a pretty good partnership for y'all to get 3 full-time people for the investment in Forward Jackson. So we will continue to work in those areas. Now, Workforce development and education. The Impact Learning Center is the workforce development and education arm of the Chamber of Commerce. We started Impact many years ago. Came out of kind of a Rotary program, and is actually funneled and channeled through the Chamber of Commerce. We actually put together a trip up to Tennessee, up above Knoxville, to look at a model program up there, and as a result came back. The problem with that is they had no money. I mean, they spent all their time with fundraisers. So when we started Focus Jackson, we were able to start funding the Impact Learning Center, and as a result of that, it's unbelievable what's happened. The biggest thing that I kind of brag on what they've been able to accomplish through the years is when we started the Impact Learning Center, 42% of the adults in Jackson County did not have a high school diploma or GED. 42%. You cannot compete in today's world when half your adults are uneducated. It's simple as that. As a result of the partnerships that we built with the county school system, the city school system, Northeast, Epcot, we've dropped that 42% down to 26%, which is below the state average. That's certainly higher than it needs to be, but believe me, it's moving in the right direction. We're excited also, and part of the thing that helped that was getting people to go back to high school and get their GED, or go back and get their GED, or go to college, go to Northeast. We have the highest GED graduation rate in the state, and that's a result of the Impact working so hard getting people, adults, to go back to school and get some type of education. We're also going into the schools, and I forget how many years we've done it. We teach a choices class, where the last, it's not even an option to drop out of high school. So we now teach that. Volunteers, you can teach that because we're getting ready to start. To every sixth grader in Jackson County, Scottsboro City and Jackson County schools. We have a CEO Expo, which is one of the best expos around the state. We've got chambers around the whole state coming in and modeling theirs after hours, because it's a hands-on expo. It's not one where you go table to table and pick up brochures about careers. You actually take blood. You actually do things with your hands, and it's a great program coming up here in October. We started through the Impact Learning Center the Pre-K Partners Program, where the state didn't have the dollars, and then they started working through organizations like the Impact Learning Center to start pre-K. We hope eventually every single school will have a pre-K class in it, because all the statistics show you either spend money on pre-K or spend money on prisons, one or the other, and they can back up all those statistics. So we just started our second pre-K program for the Impact Learning Center. We're excited about that. We also have computer class instruction for basic job skills, all types of educational opportunities at the Impact. It's free. Adult education classes, night classes are being added. They've started an installation of a mobile computer lab to have extended growth throughout the county, not just in Scottsboro, through the mobile computer lab. We've got a lunch and learn that we do once a month, where fantastic topics to help our current existing business in retail to help them grow their business. We've also got tools for business on our website, where anybody that wants to help grow their business, or they want to start a new business, it's got every single step that you can have on our website. We also have a Jackson County Human Resources Professionals group that meets monthly. Of course, Impact's under a new director, Kathy Mitchell, a new education coordinator, and a new computer instructor and staff. So there's a lot of changes, but the Impact Learning Center has done great. Now we are a 501c6, the chamber is. Impact is a 501c3. So they run off of a different set of financials. But to date, so that you'll know how much money that we have sent to the Impact Learning Center to date, and we're on a calendar year, we're not like y'all on the October calendar. Workforce development education, through August 31st, 8 months ended August 31st, $54,326. As compared to last year, we at that same point, we'd sent them $46,000. So we had a great year in 2012. We were able to increase their appropriations for 2013. So without Forward Jackson, they'd be in the same boat, JP and Ron. They'd be laying people off. Let's see. Those are the main three that I have staff people working on. I spend a lot of my time on the fourth initiative, which is governmental affairs or public policy and advocacy. That's the ones that I put together trips to Washington, put together trips to Montgomery. The mayor is always there with us, fighting every step of the way, and you've got to be involved in the political process. You have got to. As a result of going to Washington through the years, we've been doing this for over 15 years. we sat down one day and figured, and we brought back about $25 million. Perfect example that y'all benefited from it is when we were in Washington one time, and Rudder needed money for the airport, and as a result of us being there had to be, we were in Richard Shelby's office, somebody had turned in some money that they couldn't match, and we were able to get $800,000?
Right at it.
Right at $800,000, because we was at the right place at the right time. If we had not been in there, there's a good chance we would have not have gotten that. And there's story after story like that. You've got to be.
While he's there, just let me say this, and y'all may not know this, that there's a 10% match on that airport money, 5% from the state and 5% from us. So our 5% was $45,000, and the state was supposed to match it for $45,000. But we got notification that they weren't going to match it. Their funds had run short in the aviation department. Well, Rudder approached Matthew, Chairman Hodges, about it, and the county agreed to cover that 5%. So I will bring that out later in a council meeting, but I wanted y'all to know that they stepped up, because that's their airport just as much as, it's more so ours, I'd say, but still, the county gets a lot of use out of it. So when the state couldn't match their 5%, they came in and matched it. So we appreciate them doing that, and I don't think I'll let y'all aware of that, but we'll get the information out there here pretty soon. Sorry.
That's fine, that's fine. Therefore, the last thing I'll say, and I know y'all time is valuable as far as our request for this year, met with Bob Seeley. He had told us last year at the Big Bass Splash, which is now the largest bass tournament in the state of Alabama. Started out the very first year with about 300 fishermen. Last year it was 1,302, is that right?
Right around that, yeah.
1,300 fishermen. It's now the largest bass tournament in the state of Alabama. It's one of the largest in the southeast. It has been a 2-day tournament since day one. It's now going to 3 days. So we'll increase tremendously the return that we get in this area as a result of that bass tournament. Now, he doesn't increase it for free. So instead of a $15,000 contract plus about $1,000 for food and other things, we provide rooms for the officials and everything. The contractual price this year is going to $22,500. We also have to add entertainment, which we've been planning on doing for a while, but we just weren't able to at the time. It'll be a 3-day tournament. Instead of a $2.8 million impact, it ought to jump it up over $3.5 million impact because they're going to have to be in town.
So entertainment's like a band at the weigh-in, is that what it's called?
On Saturday night.
That's why I was asking.
It'll be clean entertainment. It'll be clean entertainment.
Okay.
No, we'll have some type of probably some type of band, local entertainment. Some type of stage where the country music. They have. In fact, they built it up so big out in Texas that they bring in big time. Of course, they've been doing it for 25 years. They've had Blake Shelton, Jason Aldean. They bring in big time entertainment, and I'm hoping that one day we'll be able to do that. We're not quite far enough along. We hadn't built ours to as big as theirs, but it's going to be a huge event. So we've got to start planning on that and coming up with more money. It's been about 8 years that y'all invested $65,000 as our partner. This year we are requesting a little bit of an increase to $75,000 to absorb some of that, along with the other growth that we've had in the other 3 other initiatives, because it's a tight budget. So that y'all know, my entire budget is, and again, I'm on a calendar year, but it's time for me to start working on it for 2015, is about $575,000. I bring in a little over $200,000 through Forward Jackson, about $120,000 through membership, about between the lodging tax and the $1 per room per night surcharge is about $175,000 in that, and then about $50,000 to $60,000 in our sponsorship program called a Total Resource Campaign, and that'll be kicking off here in about another month. So that's a result of my total budget of about $575,000. With that, Mr.
Any
Mayor,
questions for
City
Rick?
Council, any question, I'll be glad to answer.
Can we get a copy of the budget?
The current budget as it stands, absolutely. Now, would you want a copy of a financial too, so that, you'll see, I mean, the budget's
Well,
just
let me
up.
take a look at the budget and then.
The budget is just, obviously what we budget by, that's,
Well, yeah, I mean.
the financials are
Yeah.
actual, like that's the, through August, that's the actuals.
Okay.
So, yeah, we can get you a
Do you want
copy.
that?
You want that?
Or do you want me to come by and pick
I've
it
got
up?
copies, I got
Okay,
copies.
okay.
That's actual, through August 31st.
Do you need more than that, Bruce?
And again,
With the whole budget too?
Well, let me take a look at it and then I'll
Sure.
give you, is that
Sure,
fine if I just give you
Sure,
all?
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Anybody else?
I have one question. There were some difficulties several years back in regard to one area, my neighbor's area. They were saying we're not letting,
Oh, yeah. We,
that's all settled in and still good.
we're good, it's still tight. We have to, I have to watch my budget, so we don't have any rainy day fund or anything, and at that time, it was tough. And, my board had actually come to me and said, we gotta cut somewhere. And I recommended them, I said, let me raise some revenue rather than start cutting, such a needed service as a recruiter for retail and commercial. And I was able to do that, and that was part of the TRC, because it's a way that we can bring in a little extra dollars through our sponsorships, and we were able to save that position. And as of right now, there are no plans. In fact, probably within the next week, I'll be hiring Margaret Day's replacement. As y'all know, Margaret retired after 20 years as
That's
my
what I was about to ask you, is
Yeah.
what you were planning on doing, because she
Definitely replacing her. Been given permission by the board, and I've gone through interviews, and I'm very, very close to naming her replacement. Again, probably within the next week to 10 days. So there are no plans, Keith, as far as any cuts
I
there.
think that's right.
Oh, let me tell you, it's a huge benefit, again, to the whole county, but especially
I
the
think
city.
everybody does a great job.
So, well, we work hard, and, like I said, work very, very close with Mayor Potter, and we appreciate y'all's partnership, because we could, honestly, we could not do what we do. But we feel like also it's a bargain for y'all, because for 60, in the past it's been $65,000, you get basically 4 full-time workers that's working for the city of Scottsboro and Jackson County. It's pretty good. You couldn't hire one hardly for that kind of money, so it's a pretty good partnership, it really is.
Any other questions? When we get to talking about appropriations, we'll let you know.
Okay, thank y'all so much, and again, we
Thank you.
appreciate it. All right,
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Rick.
see y'all.